to make my last pot. And I thought it would be appropriate to demonstrate making this last pot. I made an oval baker to replace an oval baker that I broke. It was one of my favorite pieces for spoon bread and roasting a small chicken, and the one that I made to go in the last load of pots got a crack in the bottom of it. So I'm going to dirty it up one more time and make things work enough to make an oval baker for myself. If anybody's interested in buying equipment, I will be selling everything, and I think on August 22nd, I'm going to have a sale at the house where you can come and purchase things. The prices are going to be pretty firm because this is quality equipment. This is a Shimpo VL Whisper, which is like the Rolls-Royce of wheels, in my opinion. It's very strong, it's very quiet. It has a 14-inch wheel head. And I haven't had it that long. I had a Shimpo for 20 years or more, maybe 25 years. And it only had a 12-inch wheel head, and it was pretty much an antique. So I bought a different brand that I had a really good deal on, and it just wasn't performing. I could literally stop it if I wanted, if I was throwing a heavy piece. So this particular piece I'm making now is going to be, I'm making it without a bottom. And then I'm going to put a slab bottom on it so that I can misshape the sides into an oval. I've already taken my extruder off the wall, so I'll have to hand roll coils to do what I would normally do to make my signature handles. We'll see how that works. Okay, that's all for that step, except for cutting it off. The universe told me I would be sorry if I didn't make myself a new oval baker. I have rolled out a slab. I am going to make it thinner. So let's go over here. This is my vertical slab roller. I've got it covered with some fabric to keep the original canvas clean, and I can narrow it up a little bit, and then I can run it through here one more time. Okay, then I just pull this off and spread that out and smooth it. So this will be the bottom, but I'm going to trim a little bit of that off. And now I kind of know where it's going to be. I'm going to put my name stamp on it. The last pot. And the date.
I don't know if I can find my way out.
So I put the last one and the date, and now I'll turn it over and smooth the texture off of this. And now I've kind of smashed it into an oval. I'm nitpicking here to make sure that it's fairly even. And it isn't right yet. So now I've got to go back and cut right up against the edge. Now I'll put a mark right there so I'll know exactly where to match it up. Lift it off of here, and then we have to scratchy all the way around so that it will adhere to the base. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to add a little water. And add a little water. Find my marks. There's the mark on the bottom. And here's the mark on the top. And because I've picked it up, it's gotten a little bit out of round, but I'm going to make it match to the bottom. And then I'm going to take this tool and that edge right there and run it around the bottom. Don't ever want a 90-degree angle at the bottom of the casserole because it makes it hard to get food out. I'm just going to keep compressing this and blending it in. And then I'm going to take the squared off edge and come out here and compress this edge. Smooth it all the way down. I sold this design, or I sold a batch of these to North State magazine. They, in the beginning of their sales section, their handmade North Carolina crafts section, they used to buy lots, like they would work with the artist to come up with a unique item that wasn't going to be sold anywhere else that they could sell through their catalog. And then they'd order like 100 or something like that, and then I had to go into heavy production making whatever they ordered. And this was one of the pieces. And what made it special over what I made as a general production item was the color, or I changed something about the handle or something. Now I've made a little cut in this tool, and I'm going to run it around the bottom to just kind of make a bead.
Like the sun, like the sun.
See that bead around the bottom? And some of these rough places I could have smoothed out with that rib. I didn't notice it, but when it's dry I can go back and clean that up. Either that, or I'll go back right now and kind of, that's probably a whole lot easier. You just do it now. And then I'll have to go back and redo my little bead. The next step will be the handles, which I haven't had to hand roll coils for a really long time because I've had an extruder, but I do know how to do it. The best way is to angle your hands so that you're not, if you do this, then you're going to get finger marks and it's going to end up being an uneven coil. If it's important that the coil is straight, which that is important for this process, as you'll see. And if it gets flat on one side, you can, so I'm holding it on this end and kind of twisting it so that it gets, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a little spiral in it. And then when you go back and roll it, that gets that spiral out, or that flatness out, in case it wasn't, in case your coil gets flat. This is how I make the ridges in my handles. This is like a two pieces of wood cut into a corrugated pattern. See that? And so I'm going to, and on this one I have put a mark on the board as to how long they need to be. And I think I will do all of this just in case it gets cross-threaded, which it happens, because I was coming out not right. So I roll it on here just enough to get the marks of the wood, and then I take the top piece and line it up exactly with the grooves and evenly roll it, giving me this drain pipe looking thing. Okay, two handles that are going to go on either end. I'm going to take the scratchy tool and scratch at what I deem to be the center of each end. And then I'm going to wet that scratched area. And center it up and just kind of pinch it on both sides. Oops, I don't think that's even. And then I'll do the same thing on this end. And I'm holding my fingers a special way so that it's flat there, and I've got some angled cuts, some angled whatever there. And now I'm going to add a little more water in between those right there and just kind of mash it in to make sure it's connected good. Okay, and then we have to scratch here. My neighbor's handyman is working and he's playing the radio. I can hear it 2 lots over. And then we need to add some water to those spots. For those of you who've never done pottery, the water is kind of like glue. And then I'm going to mash it right there and then smear it out. I am right-handed, so the ones I do on this side, on the left-hand side of the handle, feel a little bit more awkward.
If I'm going with you, I know we'll get to the other side. Sinking in, I know this feels right. Catching a breeze, love moving through me like a wildfire, like a wildfire.
I can use a brush of water to come back and go over this. Smooth any cracks there. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The fabrication of the last pot in my studio. Stay tuned for the glazing. And darned, I forgot to video me dipping this in the glaze. But it has been dipped in this glaze, which is hemlock green, and I use these tongs to do it. Well, this is it. I managed to fill the kiln up all but that one little space, and so join me in the ceremony of setting it. We're doing a slow glaze, enter, cone 5, enter, hold 0, and then start. And there it goes. It does work for those that might be interested in buying this. So, this is the last firing that we're unloading, and that is the last pot. And now that I have it out of the kiln, I'm going to make my favorite recipe in it. I thought I would demonstrate how I make spoon bread. So we're starting out with 3/4 of a cup of cornmeal and a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to add, let's see, here's my tablespoon. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And work that all around. And the next step is crucial. You add a cup of boiling water, and it has to be boiling because it's going to cook the cornmeal and make it thick. If it's not boiling, it'll just be cornmeal and water, which won't turn out right. So I've got this all mixed up. So my water is boiling, and I'm going to dump it in here and stir it around. And you can see how the cornmeal is cooking. It thickens, it smells like cornmeal, cornbread. So you want it to look like this. So now we need to let it cool down because I don't want to curdle the eggs. And then we're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 eggs and 1 cup of milk. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, just enough to cool it down and see how thick it has gotten. That is what it needs to look like. And I'm going to add my cup of milk and 2 eggs and get this blended well. Now you preheat your oven to 350 and it's going to cook for about 35 minutes. But I am using the sun oven. So my oven is out on my deck, aimed at the sun, and right now it's about 200 degrees. So it will take longer to cook in the sun oven. You just kind of have to cook it until until it does right. So I am going to sift my baking powder.
Can't really be enticed, although it's very nice. In my space I feel most comfortable. Choose what you like.
Now I'm gluten and dairy intolerant, so I'm using gluten-free cornmeal and gluten-free baking powder and almond milk instead of cow's milk, but those differences are undetectable. And then we're going to pour it into a greased pan. Let's go out and put it. Here is my sun oven. Here I'll put it in, and it has a glass lid. It does get amazingly hot. I'm having to use a pair of pliers to tighten this glass down. But notice it's on a swinging rack. That's because it has to change angles depending on the sun. If you look down under right there, you can see where the circle of sun through that hole is directly over the screw, and that means it's at the right angle to get the most heat from the sun. But as the sun moves and changes, you have to turn and adjust the angle of the oven. So I'm going to keep coming out here and checking the angle to make sure I'm taking most advantage of the sun's rays, and it will probably be more than like an hour instead of 35 minutes. But in the blink of an eye, you will see the done spoon bread. And here it is. The sun kept coming and going, so I have to admit I gave up and put it in the oven and finished it off. So this is how it should look when it comes out. This one still kind of has 2 layers, and I think that might be because I didn't have the oven hot enough. So I would say that you really do need to have your temperature preheated to 350 before you start, and it cooks in about 35 minutes. This will be absolutely delicious anyway, and I'll put the recipe in the description if you would like to try it.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.